Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We continue our work in there. Now I give the floor to the representative of Chief Intelligence Department of MOD, Vadym Skybytskyi. Good afternoon, everyone. Now the information about current situation and tendencies on the temporarily occupied territories of our state. The situation in the ATO area remains tense. It characterizes by reinforcement and rotation of frontline military units of Russian occupation forces and tension along the front line through fire impact, especially in Mariupol area. Active reconnaissance work with the use of air drones, subversive groups, and modern military systems of reconnaissance. Also, increase of battle readiness of the 1st and 2nd Army Corps due to the operative and battle training in the framework of summer training period. Also, accumulation of weapons, military equipment, ammunition, and fuel and lubricants and other means delivered from the territory of Russian Federation. During the last week, the reconnaissance bodies of Ukraine observed 60 instances of violation of Minsk agreements as to withdrawal of heavy weapons and military equipment. In 15-kilometer zone, they revealed about 60 tanks and 7 mortars. The biggest number of tanks is near Gorlovka, Debaltsevo, Donetsk, Luhansk, Makeivka, Staromikhailivka, Shiroka Balka. In 25-kilometer zone, they revealed more than 100 systems of self-propelled character, the majority of which are in the region of Almazna, Gorlovka, Debaltsevo, Donetsk, Mykolaiivka, Lugansk, Olenivka, Stakhanovka, Telmanova. Moreover, there were 10 facts of violations in the 35-kilometer zone and 19 units of GRAD systems observed. This information was supplied to the OSCE mission. I also want to say that due to the activity of OSCE special mission in Slaviansk and Donetsk area, during the week we observed decrease of fire intensity delivered by Russian forces at our positions. And during the week there were 389 shellings and assaults. At this, the enemy used 122 millimeter and 152 millimeter artillery, and the intensity, the highest intensity was in Mariupol area. There were 178 instances. Military intelligence established that the shelling of Ukrainian positions are coordinated. The personnel is not allowed to deliver fire in presence of OSCE mission representatives in the zone of their responsibility. Chief Intelligence Department of MOD observed that during the week in the responsibility of the 3rd detached brigade Gorlovka and 6th detached motorized regiment Stakhanov, while they were OSCE representatives, ceasefire was introduced. Also, the enemy actively uses all reconnaissance means in order to establish the personnel of ATO at the front line and also to identify the facilities in the tactical area of our forces. During the current week, we observed 22 instances of the use of air drones. Also, they actively use subversive groups in the region of Avdiivka and Mariinka. In the region of Novozvanivka and Mariinka, there were also military clashes with the 6th Detached Motorized Regiment and the 100th Detached Motorized Brigade Donetsk. The enemy uses new technical means of Russian makes to broaden reconnaissance capabilities in the Mariupol area. They transferred from Russia tactical complexes, Zudaist complex that is on the inventory of armed forces of Russia, And also they actively use such complexes as Shipovnik Ara and Zhitelь to obstruct the activities of our means. This was near Donetsk and Gorlovka. The commanders of the Russian forces continue to test new makes of military equipment in the temporarily occupied territories of our state. It is established that the detached company deployed in Donetsk uses Lisochik small-scale complex. They are used to jam radio equipment, and these complexes are in the inventory of Russian Federation starting 2013. Russia also continued to supply weapon and military equipment and ammunition to the territory of Ukraine and directly to the line of confrontation by railroads and railways. They brought not less than 6,000 tons of fuel and about 80 tons of ammunition, also 120 tons of military freight, including spare parts to military equipment. Commanders of the Russian forces continue to increase battle readiness of their military units of 1st and 2nd Army Corps. They deliver operative and battle training in the framework of summer period of training. This is delivered on the territory of the 1st and 2nd Army Corps. There is activity in Novopalevsky, Bugaevka, Terez, and Markina polygon.
15-20 липня в районе
Besides that, near Kruzhiliv in Lugansk region, engineering units of the 2nd Army Corps was engaged. The task was to build pontoon ferry over the Siversky Donets River to pass military vehicles with stout artillery. The Chief Intelligence Department of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine continues to collect facts about military men which take part in military actions on the temporarily occupied territories in the east of Ukraine for further transfer of the evidence based about war crimes according to the relevant procedure to the International Criminal Court. Marienka, Slavny, Berezova, Novotроisk, Novognatievka, the platoon of snipers of the 5th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade is used. They are from the 1st Army Corps of the Center of Territorial Troops from Novocherkassk of the Southern Military Circuit from Rostov-on-Don of the Russian Federation's troops. The list of staff of the 5th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade you can see on the screen on our slides, starting with the platoon commander Evgen Shabayev, deputy commander Alexander Yashin, and the sniper staff. They were identified by our intelligence service. We continue to collect information about military aggression of the neighboring country against Ukraine, several facts about development of situation in the Crimea. In order to strengthen its military presence in Crimea, military political leadership of Russia pays special attention on restoration and development of the military infrastructure in the peninsula. The Minister of Defense of Russia, Shoigu, inspected the improvement of infrastructure in Crimea in March. He inspected coastal defense troops facilities in Simferopol and Perevalne. In June, he inspected the stations of warning about missile attacks in Sebastopol and system system of space operations control in Yevpatoria. During his last visit on July 23rd, Shoigu inspected the status of restoration and modernization of infrastructure at plane drones of Kirovskoye, Gvardiiskoye, Saki and Apuk. The Minister of Defense of Russia, Shoigu, at the meeting of Ministry of Defense of Russia on July 27th, accented the importance of deployment of self-sufficient group of troops in Crimea, transfer to new military planes to these troops and surface to air missile systems S-400 and also submarines Varshavyanka and FBM ships. And now questions and answers session. Are there any information about bringing nuclear weapons to the territory of Crimea during the occupation period? There are no proof data about importing any nuclear weapons to the territory of the Republic of Crimea, but trainings, exercises since the beginning of this year, especially in April and May, conventionally the exercises included the algorithm, working on the algorithm of supply of nuclear weapons to the territory of Crimea. Are there any more questions? We have no more questions. That's the end of the briefing. Then